Welcome to the fifth video of the series. We were going to talk about OSI and TCP IP models and what's their purpose in the networking industry. The reason why we need standards or reference models is very simple. You need interoperability. That means that if you have, for example, 3 devices from 3 different vendors, they need to know how to talk between each other. First, we were going to talk about the OSI model and its layers. The OSI model has 7 layers, as you can see here in the picture. First layer is physical, second layer is data link, network, transport, session, presentation, and application. In the networking world, we are dividing these 7 layers into upper layers and lower layers. The most important for us are the lower layers, which includes transport, network, data link, and physical. Because in the IT networking world, we are working so much with OSI model, you will need to remember its layers. The best way to remember the layers are 2 funny sentences. We will start with the one which I like the most. First sentence is, please do not throw sausage, pizza away. And here we have presentation, data link, network, transport, session, presentation, and the application layer. It starts from the bottom, it goes up to the 7th layer of application. The second sentence is all people seem to need data processing. On the second sentence, it starts from the top to the bottom. And this is application, presentation, session, transport, network, data link, and physical. The application layer provides an interface from the application to the network by supplying a protocol with actions that are meaningful to the application. For example, when you're trying to access a web page like bbc.co.uk, your browser tells the network to get the BBC web page. Staying on the same web page, you might ask yourself how your browser is able to get all the pictures, all the commercials displayed on your web browser. It's very simple. For that you have the presentation layer, which is negotiating the data formats. Going further through the OSI model, we are reaching the session layer. This layer, it's able to track how many sessions you have opened. Let's do a quick netstat. Netstat -f in our case on Windows. And we will see some sessions established to my loopback, but you're gonna find out more about the loopback IPs in the next videos. However, we are able to see also some websites and domains where I'm connected, like for example Amazon, Windows, and so on. Now that we finished with the upper layers of OSI model, we can take a look at the most interesting ones for us, which are the lower layers: transport, network, data link, and physical. First, we were going to talk about transport. And over here we are seeing TCP or UDP ports. For example, when I have shown you the netstat command previously, over here we can see some TCP ports like HTTPS here or here. These ports are used to communicate with other systems. In our case, Windows Server for updates, or when you're getting, for example, to google.com, you might use TCP port 80. So in other terms, every application has its own port, TCP or UDP, that is using for communication. For example, Telnet is using TCP port 23. HTTP by default is using TCP port 80, FTP 21. You can also have HTTPS. We can also have HTTPS, which is using again by default port 443. Why I'm saying by default, this is because of the reason that as an administrator of the application, you can change the default port number. So for example, if I have an application and I want to change 443, why? Because everybody knows that 443 is for HTTPS. I can change it, for example, to 8443. So if somebody will try to access my web page or my application using HTTPS, which is the common port 443, because I changed it, he will not going to be able to get access to my web page or to my application. Devices which are able to work with the transport layer or using TCP or UDP ports, we have computer systems like PCs, we have servers, and of course we have firewalls. To wrap around the most important things regarding the transport layer, focuses with data delivery between two endpoints. Going down below on the OSI model, we were going to reach the networking layer. This layer also defines the IP addressing, the routing, and the routing protocols which are used to learn about other networks than yours. And naturally, because we mentioned routing protocols and routing in general, at this layer, as layer 3 devices, we have routers. At the data link layer, we have the protocols which are responsible for delivering the data over a particular type of physical network. Like, for example, Ethernet. The most important for you in CCNA is to know about the MAC addresses and what is their purpose into your network, and the devices which will be able to work with MAC addresses, like a switch or an access point. The last layer from the OSI model that we were going to talk about here is the physical layer. which defines the medium of transmission.